Hey guys, today is kind of a solemn day, Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day in Israel and really all over the world. You know, it's interesting, guys. I'm on the way right now to the neighborhood of Crown Heights in Brooklyn. Obviously, we all know that is the headquarters. That's where the headquarters of Chabad is. 770 Eastern Parkway. It's also where the Rebbe's house is, which actually had been turned into a museum, and still a museum to this day, and a place of prayer. People come, there for basically prayer and meditation and guidance. And you know what's interesting, guys? A lot of people, leaders in the Jewish world, whether they be from Israel or from America or elsewhere, Europe, came to the Rebbe for guidance. And, the question is, did they listen to him? The Lubavitcher Rebbe was born in Ukraine, and he escaped Ukraine in the 30s, or he left Ukraine. He went to France. He studied in the Sorbonne. He lived in France for a few years. And then in 1941, he left France and he came to America. He saw what was coming, and he came to America. He was in his late 30s by then. And so he escaped the Holocaust, and he knew how it could be that the Jewish people could avoid another Holocaust. After the Holocaust happened, after the Shoah happened, he knew how could a Jew or a group of Jews, or how could Israel escape another Holocaust, right? Or something resembling it. And a lot of people came to him for advice. Strategic advice, military advice, political advice. My friends, this is a person who never stepped foot in the land of Israel, but he knew every nook and cranny of it. He hardly left Crown Heights. The only places he would go to was the grave of his father-in-law, the sixth Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, and then when his wife, Haimushka, the Rebbetzin, passed away, he would go to her grave also in Queens, and then he would go to a place called Gan Israel. It was a summer camp for kids. So basically, he cared about the next generation, and he cared about the previous generation and the next generation. I mean, he cared about everybody, right? But in terms of where he would go, move around geographically, that's where he was focused, right? And people, everybody else came to him. He didn't go to them; they came to him, right? In 770 Eastern Parkway. So, my friends, once again, we are at a moment in Jewish history where we had something akin to a Babi Yar massacre almost 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago now. It was the biggest attack on Jews per capita since the Shoah. And honestly, guys, I hate to say this, I don't know if we learned our lesson. I do not know if we learned our lesson. I really don't think we did. How do I know that, guys? Because, well, for one, the Prime Minister of Israel, however you feel about him, and listen, these days I'm not as big as fan for my own reasons, right? Not to do with Hamas, to do with other things which I won't get into. He is still the commander-in-chief of the Israeli military. De facto, right? It's not called that in Israel, but that's essentially what he is. If he's the leader of the country, he's the commander-in-chief of the IDF. So, the commander-in-chief of the IDF is being dragged into court to testify against himself in court during an existential war, during a war of annihilation, my friends. It's not just a war against Hamas, it's a war against the Shiites in Iraq, the Shiite Houthim in Yemen, against Hezbollah, certain forces probably in Syria, even though they're kind of busy with their own stuff, and internal, Arabs in Israel. My friends, this is insane. And today I noticed a few people who like to call themselves modern Orthodox, right? Being up in arms again about what? Being up in arms about the fact that I think he's the defense minister, I want to say, Itamar Ben-Gvir, or Minister of Security, is visiting in America, and he's going around universities and synagogues and shuls talking about how to prevent the next Shoah. A person, no matter what you think of him, no matter what you think of him politically, and you think he's a racist, you think he's this, my friends, you got to ask yourself one question. If you're a Jew, any Jew on earth, especially if you claim to be connected to Torah, is the person who you are up in arms against with you or against you? Is he going to defend you if you're Jewish, or will he not? Does he want to prevent your death or not? My friends, the answer is simple. We know the answer. The answer is yes. So if you are objecting to the way he does things, or to his opinions, or to his words, or anything he's ever done on God's green earth, and you claim to be connected to Torah, there's something severely wrong with you. And not only that, you haven't learned the lesson of the Shoah, you haven't learned the lesson of of October 7th. You haven't learned any lesson. If you want a person to replace him, let's say a person who funded our enemies, there's something wrong with you. There's a person who was the Prime Minister of Israel for a short period of time who gave money to our enemies, my friends. There's two people actually that did this. They were prime ministers in a rotation, 18 months at a time. They gave money to our enemies, my friends. If you support these people simply based on their actions with regard to your security and your safety as a Jew, in this case, there's something wrong with you, my friends. It's just madness. And I said to these people, I said to them, I mentioned this before, I live in a town right next to another town in Jersey that is the 5th most per capita Muslim city in America. They have a street called Palestine Way. Their police, the police of the town, wear Palestinian flag, quote unquote, patches on their bulletproof vests, on their flak jackets. My friends, I said to these folks, I hope none of these people come to your door. They are 30 minutes away from Manhattan, 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away from other towns with Orthodox shuls. The town I'm in has 7 Orthodox shuls. There's other towns with more Orthodox shuls. They are within so-called striking distance of these places, my friends. And I hope, and we're talking about a dumb blue state like New Jersey, I hope that no one comes to their door, to the people that I was speaking to. My friends, I was met with derision. So again, have we learned anything this Yom HaShoah? Guys, I really don't want to say it, but I don't think we have. I think some of us have, but honestly, I think a lot of people have not. Even the people that so to speak have, they have a false sense of security. This is what I learned this week. They have a false sense of security. Everybody has seemingly gone back to their lives. And you want to tell me, Tzvi, what are we supposed to do? Live like paralyzed, people with a deer in the headlights? No. You should not live like a deer in the headlights, but you should also not live like an ostrich. I said to my friends, can you ask some of your friends in a certain institution, whatever, academic institution, what's up with these people, right? What happened to them? Or, convey a message to them. And he said to me, you're asking me to convey a message to ostriches with their heads in the sand. He goes, that's what you're asking me to do. I'm like, I guess. He's like, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. Not only they don't want to be helped, their reaction will be to scratch and claw at you, right? That's what their reaction will be. Just one second, guys. So, my friends, Yom HaShoah, October 7th. We haven't learned anything, but with that said, guys, maybe we can think about the leaders of old, whether it was the Rebbe, whether it was, Rabbi Meir Kahana, and think about what they would tell us. What would they advise us? We know, because we could look at the tapes. We could look back. We could read the literature. We know what they would tell us. They didn't always agree between each other, but on this they agreed. All right, guys. I'm getting nudged, and I'll talk to you soon.